same time, when the user is opening a document, right? The document, for the user it doesn't really make a difference. You just use your Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or Excel or whatever. And the moment you click on the document will open only to the right person. What you're doing is a valid action. Printing or you're editing or you're copying. At the right time, with the right person. So that's how you control the security of the information that you're sharing. So the very common business scenarios in case of outsourcing, a lot of data is being shared with the outsourcing partners. Like we keep hearing instances about people from call centers, doing some kind of mischievous activity. Statement printing, data entry, telemarketing, we get so many unsolicited calls. Where do they get all this information from? Sales, customer data is very vital for most of the organizations. Right? In many cases, they just share it. And what happens is when the salesperson leaves the organization and joins a competitor, it takes all that customer data with them. HR, your payroll data, your appraisal document. In fact, one of the companies that we work with has started sending the recruitment letters protected with IR. They don't want them to take those recruitment letters to the next company and do shop around. So there are various different ways people have started using those technical drawings, specifications. So what I'll do is I'll give you a quick demo of how the system works, just for your benefit. So what I have is here is a simple virtual machine. The way this works is there is a small agent which is like your Acrobat Reader, which you need to install on that machine in order to open the document or protect the document. So I have a small agent which is installed over here, and you can see here on the right hand bottom corner I have a small file here. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to create a simple Word file. Just put some confidential data. Who called me on this day? So let's say this is very confidential. Right? Now I want to protect this, so all I do is, now there are some things that I need to specify. There is a classification. Now typically most of the compliance standards expect the users or specify that the users need to classify their information before they can use it. So they can have their own classification mechanism, but they need to apply a classification. Then you define what are the rights. So I already have something which is already defined. We can check what it is. I'm answering all the 4 questions here. Who are the users who are allowed to use this file? What can they do with this file? They can view it, edit, print. Right? When they can do it, I can put some dates or how many days for which they can use it. From where, from which place, whether it's in the office or from the home machine or whatever. So I'm just going to apply this ease the appearing. Unfortunately, it's a Word file, so I can't open it and show you, but internally what happens is that data obviously gets encrypted. And I can now send this file across to somebody else, mail it across, or I can put it in a get it on a CD or put it on my internet website, right? Whichever may be the case. I'm still secure because the data is encrypted and anybody who gets this file cannot really get the information which is there inside. So for our demo purpose, I'm just going to copy this file into a shared folder here. The user who has received this document which I wanted to send him, right? Now all he does is he just opens this file. Now because it's a file secure protected file or IAM protected file, what it is basically doing is it is finding out what are the rights of this user. If you see in the background, what is you're seeing is not the document that you sent across the right? That's not the information that you sent. The background, if you see, it's essentially saying this document is protected by secure files. It's saying this user has only few permissions on this file. So it means that he can't do anything else with my actual file. So he can't do anything except for reading this file on his machine. Right? If I for example, if I try to edit this file and save it, it won't allow me to read. Right? If I, let's say, try to print, it won't allow me to print. Right? I can try and do a copy paste. Won't allow you to paste that. So essentially there is no way you can take out information. Even if you try to take a screenshot or use any of the screen grabbing tools to capture this, it won't allow you to capture the screenshot. So if you're given somebody view rights, all he can do is essentially read that data or that information for himself. Right? Of course, if you are user who has been allowed any of these activities, if you are a user who is allowed any of these activities, then obviously you will be able to do that. But if you are not a person who is authorized, right? You won't be able to, do any of those activities that you want to. So, just as an example, what I do is I just log in as a demo user 3. This person, again the same thing, he tries to open the same files. I've given him view, edit and print rights. Right? So he is allowed to view, edit and print this document. So I can actually edit this file. Save it. Save. So what this is doing is basically it is underlying. There is a layer which is sitting between this application and the the operating system. And all the calls which are being made by the application on the operating system are being tracked. And it, depending on the permissions that are allowed or not allowed for the user, it essentially tracks and intercepts and controls those calls. Now let's say I had sent this document across to somebody, and now 2 days later I realize that I don't want him to have that information. So what do? So I'll go back and log in as the owner of that file. I'm just redistributing, changing the permissions on that file. So let's say there is a user, demo user 3. I don't want him to have access to this file anymore. I don't like it. We should not have my birthday. So remember what I changed here is the file which is sitting on my desktop and not the file which is sitting in the shared folder. Right? So that is something that he already has gone out, right? Out of my control. Demo user 3 comes in tomorrow. He says, I have to send a greeting card to Abhijit. Please, I need to have his birthday. Now if he tries to open this file now, right, he says, you do not have rights to open this file. Right? You do not have the permissions. So although he has a file, it is of no use to him because the owner of that information has not given him the rights. So essentially you can exchange information, you can collaborate freely, without worrying about whether you are sending information which you do not want to be with that person tomorrow, right? Or whether it will go in the wrong hands and end up with somebody whom you don't want to have that information.
So every time you open the file, a request is sent to server that the permission is there or not?
Yeah. So every time you open the file, essentially what happens is it connects to a centralized server. It checks what are the permissions given assigned to the user. So in that sense, yes, you need to be connected to the server for to be able to use that file. But there is an option for you to use it offline. So if the owner, if I want to allow you to use it in offline mode, I can enable it for you. In which case you can use it even when you are not connected to the server.
So when the response is coming back, if I manipulate that response, is it possible to see the file?
Which response?
Like I'm online, I open the file, a request goes, server says no, but the response when it is coming, can I manipulate it and still see the file?
Okay. See, there is the key for this encryption, firstly, is stored in the server, right? So unless the server sends the key, you will not be able to open the file. So even if you get the response and you manipulate the response or do whatever, right? Firstly, that you will not get the key because if you are not authorized person, the server will not send the key in the first place, right? So it won't come out of its database. Even if you are an authorized person and you are not allowed to do certain activities, the key is sent over SSL in an encrypted tunnel. So there is a tunnel inside the SSL tunnel within which the key is sent. So even if you crack the SSL tunnel, you will still not get to the key. What I am going to do is I am just going to log in back as the original owner of the document. And I want to find out who are the people who are interested interested in knowing my birthday? Right? So now this tells me all the details about what happened to my information. It's my information. It was my document. Now there are a number of people who might have used this file. Right? Some of them are authorized, valid users. I wanted them to use. Some of them might be people I didn't want them to have this information. But they might have still tried to open this file. Right? So it will tell me all the attempts or activities which the user tried to do. Some of them might be authorized, some of them might not be authorized. Right? You can even check all the granular details. So I know that there is one person who tried to edit the file. I know all the details about what is his IP address, from which location, for at what point in time. You get all the details. So essentially, what this enables users, mostly I would say the business community, is share information confidently, securely, without worrying about, how do we control it or how do we unshare it tomorrow as your business relationship might change. Right? Yeah, I think that's about it. Any questions?
So in this case, internet is required, right?
Yes. Yes and no. It depends on what kind of configuration you are deployed it on. In a lot of enterprises, the server is deployed within their intranet. But of course, if you are trying to send it to an external entity, then he will need to access it over internet.
So how that can be managed? Is intranet as well as internet?
You basically put that server into a DMZ. I mean, that's a standard stuff, right? You just make it available from both internal as well as external users.
So this is not the local account right, or domain account?
See, there it can be connected to any of your user repositories. So by default, it is connected to your domain account, right? But many of these companies have their vendor portals or the customer portals where customers can log in. It can connect back to those portals and allow the same accounts to be used for authenticating the users.
So this can be handled for the external entity.
So let's say if I have a vendor portal, so I have a database of all my vendors with all their account details, right? Now, when I send a document to a vendor, when the vendor tries to open it, he is not on my domain. So what it will do is it will prompt the user for his authentication, and he will be asked to enter his vendor portal user ID password, and this system will internally authenticate with that. Any other questions?
Does the server hold copies or is it just a permission-based mechanism?
Sorry?
Does the server hold any copy or is it just a permission-based mechanism?
So server doesn't hold the copy of the file. So what is exchanged with the server is just the permissions. So it doesn't hold any data with itself. It just holds the keys and the usage rights with itself.
So when I create such a document, do I need any plugin on my word processor?
There is a small plugin. It's like you can say it's a freely available plugin like a Acrobat Reader kind of thing. You need to deploy that, install that on your desktop. Yes. So we recommend that this system is deployed in a high availability environment. What also is possible is you give somebody offline rights. So even if the server is not online, he will still be able to use the document. Right? But those are exceptional situations. So yes, it has to be deployed in a high availability environment. Anything else? So thanks a lot. There are some brochures here in case any of you are interested.